Holy shit. He said what?
This particular episode was quite scathing, and the grains of truth that it held. You know, I'm not sure how the Sussexes are taking it. Obviously, it is a cartoon, but there's so many moments of truth in that episode that makes it so funny.
It's so quiet and empty here. If we moved her, then people would think we're really serious about wanting to be normal. It does seem perfect, doesn't it?
Wow, I know. Yeah, you just have to prove like you have the proof that you're proving that you can prove the proof. It's divine intervention that God brought you to this podcast today. Some pretzels. I put them in a bag myself. These pretzels are divinely ordered. The pretzels obsessive.
I love that your eyes are sparkling right now. I forgot to have fun. You're right. You're right. Getting to know you for who you truly are. So why did you say yes to doing this show?
Because it's you.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
What happens when Hollywood's most image-controlled royal crashes headfirst into the world's most savage cartoon? Meghan Markle just became South Park's latest target. And this time, they didn't just poke fun. They went for the throat. Forget the worldwide privacy tour. That was child's play.
These two are not sincere people. They say that they want their privacy while going on every television show, writing books, doing 6 hours of Netflix. They're not very likable, and people are tired of them.
Can we rally him up here and finally have our own privacy? My love, I will do anything for your privacy.
Yeah, I loved it.
According to leaks, this new episode doesn't hold back, and Meghan's now viral interview with Jamie Kern Lima, it's at the center of it all. Buzzwords. Baby talk. Buzzword about baby talk. South Park saw an opening, and if rumors are true, they turned it into a parody so brutal that insiders are calling it the most vicious roast since the Prince Harry spoof. We're talking whisper campaigns from PR firms, studio execs allegedly scrambling behind the scenes, and an episode so layered in mockery it's already sending social media into meltdown mode. So what exactly set South Park off this time? What's in the episode that no one's ready to admit publicly? And why does this parody feel more personal than political? You're about to get the full story, the version the headlines won't tell you.
I want to play you the first of these South Park clips and get you to react.
Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy!
2 seconds later.
That man loves me so much. He's also a fox.
It was meant to be a moment of healing. A calm, softly lit, vulnerability-packed podcast episode where Meghan Markle could reclaim her narrative. Again. Sitting across from Jamie Kern Lima, a self-made millionaire turned motivational speaker, Meghan wasn't just talking. She was performing something bigger. A highly stylized journey through motherhood, trauma, empowerment, and self-worth. But something went sideways. From the moment the episode dropped, even the most neutral viewers felt it. The pauses were too perfectly timed, the voice too carefully modulated, the phrases, reclaiming my voice, radical self-belief, empowered feminine leadership, sounded less like conversation and more like excerpts from a TED Talk someone forgot to fact-check.
Do you notice that at the end of every episode, it says, like, the starring Meghan, Duchess of Sussex?
Yes. What's the title of her show? Love Meghan. For what? To watch? Who wants to watch Meghan Markle bake a pie?
I'm going to make Meghan a charcuterie tray, which I just learned that word a few years ago.
Charcuterie tray for Meghan Markle. My God. It's just a board with food on it that then goes bad. That's not a skill. Go cook it. Don't just buy a bunch of stuff and put it on a board pretty. That's not a skill.
The woman who destroyed her in-laws' family, whose own family doesn't like her, whose the in-laws obviously don't like her, the public doesn't like her.
It didn't help that these same words had been floating around her previous interviews, Netflix specials, and press tours. Only this time, the script felt thinner. Speculation immediately kicked in. Was this another calculated rebrand? A strategic pivot toward wellness entrepreneurship? Industry insiders whispered that Meghan was quietly building her own empire of speaking tours, skincare brands, and maybe even a lifestyle product line. And this podcast, a trial balloon, a soft launch for Markle 2.0. But the audience didn't bite. Viewers described the interview as eerily robotic, corporate therapy, and weirdly uncomfortable. Even some fans admitted it didn't land. The vibe wasn't raw, it was rehearsed. Instead of connecting, it came off like a LinkedIn post wrapped in soft piano music, And that's exactly what made it the perfect target. Because South Park doesn't just parody moments, they prey on performance. And this podcast gave them a buffet: emotional sound bites, PR polish, and enough buzzwords to fill a vision board factory. If the whispers are true, the writers saw the episode, rolled their eyes, and then picked up their pens.
Hey. Did you know it's cold in there?
Yeah.
Must be an American thing.
It's not.
But wait, watch this. Amazing, right?
But what really triggered South Park's return fire wasn't just the podcast's content. It was the intent behind it. And that part gets way darker in the next section. Behind every viral moment, there's usually a strategy. And according to multiple industry insiders, Meghan Markle's recent podcast appearance wasn't just a heart-to-heart. It was a carefully constructed brand blueprint. Think talking points, target demographics, pre-approved buzzwords, and emotional story arcs engineered to land in headlines. According to speculation within PR circles, the interview followed what's known as a narrative ladder, a corporate storytelling structure designed to guide the listener from empathy to admiration to brand loyalty. It's not uncommon in the wellness and self-help space, but when celebrities use it, it gets slippery.
But to the world, it's just, what has she been doing? Does she work? As opposed to, oh my gosh, I work so hard, and I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard.
The beginning of that clip where she's like, oh my God, it's like, it's so inauthentic.
And South Park allegedly caught on. The new episode reportedly rips into this exact tactic, turning Meghan's podcast arc into a scene-by-scene marketing playbook. Characters speak in manufactured vulnerability, refer to themselves as powerful healing archetypes, and hold rehearsed silences while pretending to center their truth. It's satire with teeth, and it's aimed directly at how over-curated Meghan's public image has become.
I've read Spare. I've read it cover to cover. They are a damaged couple. They are people in trauma. If you think about it, Meghan got everything she wanted. She got the husband, she got the children, she got the HRA. She got everything that allowed her to rise up and to have that global recognition that we know how badly she wanted that.
Whispers from Paramount insiders even suggest the writers had access to leaked presentation decks allegedly used by Meghan's branding team. Unverified, of course, but if true, that would explain why the parody feels eerily specific. One scene reportedly shows a cartoon Meghan holding up a vision board filled with words like authenticity TM, legacy, and wellness commerce. Another joke mocks a hypothetical line of healing candles called Arch Essence. Is it exaggerated? Of course. But it wouldn't land if there wasn't a kernel of truth buried underneath the punchline. Critics have long pointed out that Meghan's image feels too curated for someone claiming to want privacy. Every photo looks magazine-ready. Every quote feels screen-tested. And this podcast? Just the latest chapter in what skeptics call the Meghan machine.
They say they hate journalists. Harry hates journalists. But to pay PR, who say what you want and who, shape social perception in your favor while also disparaging and lying about others, thereby reaching their privacy. I think the whole, worldwide privacy tour is hysterical.
But South Park doesn't just mock the message, it attacks the mechanics. And according to early viewers, the satire in this episode feels surgical, because what happens next takes that authenticity brand and flips it completely on its head. If there was one moment in Meghan's interview with Jamie Kern Lima that was supposed to feel sacred, it was the story about her children. She leaned in, voice softening, and described how she writes them heartfelt emails every night, letters they'll one day read as a window into her soul. It was raw, emotional, deeply personal. But to critics, and apparently to the South Park writers, it felt like something else entirely: performed privacy.
Meghan Markle has revealed she sends secret late-night emails to Archie and Lilibet. Isn't that adorable, Carlos?
But before I go to bed almost every night, I email them for them to be able to look back and go, oh my gosh, she has loved us so much.
The cartoon allegedly takes that gentle anecdote and turns it into one of the most outrageous scenes in the episode. In the parody, a Meghan-like character is shown reading emails to her children in front of a studio audience, complete with applause signs, dramatic lighting, and sentimental music swelling behind her. Every message ends with a call to action. Remember to like, share, and live your truth, baby. It's not just cruel, it's calculated. Because what South Park seems to be pointing out isn't the act itself. There's nothing wrong with wanting to preserve moments for your children. It's the delivery. The idea that something so personal is being shared so publicly, in such a curated way, sets off alarm bells for audiences used to hearing real people speak without a brand filter.
And she also is pretending that she's crying. We zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight. Dan, look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear?
Online, fans and critics split into two camps. Some felt the email story was genuinely touching, proof that Meghan is a thoughtful mother. But others saw it as a form of emotional branding, a way to wrap maternal instincts into marketable content, the kind of confession tailor-made to trend on Instagram or anchor a wellness memoir. Rumor has it that the South Park team latched onto this idea early, that the moment the podcast dropped, writers began sketching out how far they could push that paradox, private stories made public for personal gain. And they didn't stop there, because up next, South Park reportedly takes aim at the fashion of activism and what happens when meaning gets lost in the aesthetic. In Meghan Markle's world, every outfit tells a story, and she makes sure you know it. Whether it's a fair trade silk blouse from a women-owned label or recycled shoes with a purpose, she's made it clear that her fashion isn't just about style, it's about message. Or at least, that's how the branding goes. But in the hands of South Park, that message allegedly got turned into madness. One of the most talked about sequences from the upcoming Parody, according to leaks and speculation, is a rapid-fire fashion montage where Meghan's cartoon counterpart struts down various red carpets, each time introducing a new, increasingly absurd outfit. Not just ethical or sustainable, but downright ridiculous. Think biodegradable ball gowns, protest-themed handbags that chant slogans, and one supposedly iconic moment where she wears a cloak made entirely of upcycled TED Talk transcripts. The punchline? Not the clothes themselves, but the need to be seen making a statement. According to speculation, the writers were poking fun at how Meghan's interviews often include detailed explanations of her wardrobe choices, down to which female entrepreneur designed which button. Admirable? Sure. But in South Park's satirical lens, it morphs into something theatrical. A fashion show disguised as feminism.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
Sorority girl, actress, influencer, victim. Yeah, that's totally me!
The deeper joke here is about optics over substance. When the cause becomes the costume, authenticity starts to unravel. Viewers reportedly see cartoon characters confused about whether they're supporting the movement or just watching a performance. At one point, a character even mutters, "Is this a protest or a runway?" It's a biting commentary on how modern activism, especially when filtered through celebrity culture, can lose its impact when it becomes too curated. Not because the cause isn't worthy, but because the delivery feels too glossy to believe. And just when it seems like the parody can't push the envelope any further, South Park allegedly zeroes in on the real elephant in the room. Not the message, but the tone. The overly dramatic, breathy delivery that turned a simple podcast into a full-blown self-help monologue. Even Meghan's fiercest defenders had to admit there was something off about the way she spoke in the interview. Every sentence was slow. Every pause felt planned. Her voice dipped into that soothing, Oprah-adjacent cadence that made even the lightest topics sound like moral reckonings.
You have to imagine, at the beginning, everyone is like butterflies, and then we immediately went into the trenches together.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, like 6 months into dating. So now 7 years later, when you have a little bit of breathing space.
Yes. Oh my God, there's something wrong with her.
On paper, it was a podcast, but to many listeners, it felt like attending a TED Talk where the speaker forgot what they were saying halfway through. And if the rumors are true, South Park zeroed in on this tone, not the message, as one of the episode's most exaggerated jokes. One scene allegedly shows Meghan's cartoon stand-in answering basic questions with such intense dramatic pauses that characters around her fall asleep mid-conversation. Another moment reportedly has her reading a grocery list like it's a eulogy for democracy. The implication? That when everything is delivered like a life lesson, nothing actually sticks. South Park's satire doesn't argue Meghan lacks real experiences. It suggests she buries them beneath layers of performance. The carefully modulated tone, the breathy vulnerability, the constant eye contact. Viewers said it felt like she was trying to sell something, even if that something was just herself. This isn't about mocking trauma, it's about packaging. Because when sincerity gets overproduced, it stops sounding sincere. And in an age where audiences crave rawness, not rehearsal, that delivery style lands as artificial, even manipulative.
Prove that you're enough. You have to prove that you're pretty enough. You have to prove that you're smart enough. You prove that you're a good wife or a good friend. Or
Meghan Markle sitting here talking about, yeah, I gotta prove that I'm pretty. And while she's a pretty woman sitting across from a bratwurst?
Yes! South Park's writers allegedly knew this. Instead of tearing apart her words, they just amplified how she said them. And in doing so, made the interview's biggest weakness impossible to unhear. But the most unexpected twist? According to insiders, they didn't stop with the audio. Because what came next was visual, a detail so simple, yet so loaded, it became one of the episode's most talked about moments. And yes, it involves no makeup at all. When Meghan Markle appeared barefaced in her now viral video, the internet didn't just notice, it exploded. On the surface, it was simple. No foundation, no contouring, no Hollywood gloss. Just Meghan, raw and real, allegedly. But in the eyes of South Park's creators, it was anything but spontaneous. Leaks and rumors suggest the show tackled this moment head-on, turning a minimalist choice into maximalist satire. In one scene, Meghan's cartoon counterpart dramatically wipes off invisible makeup while solemn music plays in the background. The punchline lands when another character, confused, asks, "Wait, weren't you already not wearing any?" The answer, "That was yesterday's reel. This is today's."
So whose baby is that?
This is our baby, Harry.
Ah, hello. You. Was that okay?
Let's just do the whole thing again.
It's a subtle but biting commentary on how even authenticity can become its own performance. The alleged satire points out that in today's image economy, vulnerability often comes with strategic lighting, pre-cleared talking points, and a personal brand manager just off camera. The makeup-free look, instead of representing freedom from pressure, becomes yet another layer of messaging, ironically curated to appear uncurated. According to speculation, the South Park episode doesn't ridicule the choice itself. It mocks the framing of the choice, as if skipping concealer is suddenly revolutionary, as if raw skin is now a press-worthy statement. There's even reportedly a moment where other characters try to one-up Meghan's realness, showing up covered in food stains and messy hair to prove their authenticity credentials, turning the trend into a farce. The message? When everything is a statement, nothing feels real anymore. South Park allegedly holds up a mirror, not just to Meghan, but to a culture where honesty is so hyper-managed, it loops back into artificiality. It's not saying the bare face is fake. It's saying the need to announce it might be.
Look at that face, she's not happy.
Oh, yeah, it's so hard to be pretty. So your life is so hard, you're a fucking princess. I wonder how hard it is to be Cinderella when you look like the fucking step witch's mother. That's a character you didn't even know about.
I didn't even know you were black.
But just when you think the satire peaked with that, it shifts. Because according to insiders, the most savage moment isn't visual at all. It's about a single word Meghan couldn't stop saying. And South Park allegedly turned it into a full-blown catchphrase. In most interviews, a single word wouldn't mean much. But Meghan Markle isn't most interviews. And in this one, the word yet wasn't just a punctuation mark. It became a philosophy, a branding tool, and unintentionally, a meme. From "I'm not finished healing yet" to "they haven't understood yet," Meghan used the word as a hopeful horizon, a signal that transformation, acceptance, or even vindication was always just around the corner. But for some listeners, it started sounding less like growth and more like a script. And if the rumors swirling around South Park's writer's room are true, they noticed too, and went all in. The show doesn't just poke fun at the word yet, it weaponizes it. In one satirical scene, every character in Meghan's fictional orbit begins ending sentences with "yet," regardless of whether it makes sense. "We haven't eaten lunch yet." "I'm not tired yet." "Cartman hasn't joined a wellness cult yet." The result? Utter nonsense. And that's the joke. The show allegedly mocks how "yet" was being used as a shield against criticism, a deflection from accountability. and a way to keep Meghan's narrative endlessly suspended in potential. Always becoming, never arrived. Fans familiar with the podcast noticed the repetition too, saying it gave the impression Meghan was stuck in a loop of self-discovery with no resolution. Others speculated it was a carefully coached rhetorical device, designed to appear empowering while keeping her above reproach. South Park, if the speculation holds, saw right through it and exaggerated it until it collapsed under its own weight. But here's the kicker. It worked. The word "yet" has reportedly already started trending online. Not in empowerment circles, but in satire threads, meme pages, and late-night comedy segments.
It's a really good platform to promote my brand.
What is your brand?
I'm opening this cylinder now. If you're watching, hit what a ta-da!
It's become shorthand for performative growth, and it might follow her longer than anyone expected. But South Park wasn't finished. Because the final scene, according to insiders, takes everything, from the tone to the buzzwords to the staged vulnerability, and condenses it into one chaotic finale. And it's not just savage, it's cinematic. If even half of what's being whispered around writers' rooms, animation studios, and Hollywood PR circles is true, then Meghan Markle might be facing the most brutal parody of her public life to date. Not from tabloids, not from late night, but from 4 cartoon kids in Colorado who've made a legacy out of mocking power with pinpoint accuracy. From a pregnancy plotline to a barefaced branding roast, from mockumentary-style breakdowns to the viral overuse of a single word, this rumored South Park takedown isn't just entertainment, it's a cultural moment in waiting, one that could reset the conversation around Meghan, celebrity vulnerability, and the performance of privacy. But here's the thing. As of now, it's still just that. A rumor. The episode hasn't aired. Paramount hasn't confirmed a thing. And insiders? Well, they're either playing coy or playing the long game, which, if you know South Park's history, is exactly how they like it. What's undeniable, though, is the level of buzz. Something this loud doesn't come from nowhere. The whispers, the leaks, the sudden silence from key players, it's enough to make even skeptics wonder, if this isn't happening, why does it feel like it already has? And maybe that's the power of South Park itself. Long before an episode drops, it lives rent-free in the public psyche, amplifying the absurdity we're all trying to ignore. Whether the cartoon ever airs or not, the conversation it sparked about authenticity, privilege, and the modern media machine is very, very real. So, has South Park already gone too far? Or are we just finally catching up? So what's your verdict? Brutal satire or unfair attack? Leave a comment, hit that like button if you've ever cringed at a motivational moment. If you're into unfiltered storytelling, cultural takedowns, and the chaos behind the curated, hit that subscribe button. We're diving deeper, going messier, and pulling back every polished curtain.